What's happening, everybody? Once again, I'm doing another video review. Today, I'm going to review Rollo Tomassi, his video, When a Woman Reaches 29 to 31, and he's the author of the Rational Male book series. I've read 3 of those books completely. I'm into the 4th one about religion, and I'm about 3/4 of the way through. And usually I take a break because as I'm reading his books, even though I happen to agree with a lot of what he says, I am very cynical, super cynical when I read them. And it actually depresses me. And I would like to ask him questions about how it makes me feel sort of nihilistic, however you pronounce that, and depressed and cynical reading his books because the state of intersexual dynamics with women stinks. But I'm really glad I read his books. There's something I wish I would have read much younger. Except when I was younger, I must say that I don't think I was mature enough to absorb the material and get a lot out of it. I think you have to be somewhat emotionally and intellectually mature to get a lot out of his books plural. So I'm going to come over. Actually, you know what I'm going to do first? But just before I start reviewing his thing, I'm just going to give you a quick look at my studio untethered. Like, check that out. So I have my camera on my phone. This is me. Hello there. Hello there. And I'm going to just show you my studio here a little bit. Here it is backed up in this angle here. I have a big LED screen. I have a 55-inch LED screen. The big one is 85 inches. And right now that's just a screensaver on the big one that I play off of YouTube. I think it looks cool. And over there is my computer for the fire screensaver. And there's Mr. Spock. And that's it. So I'm sure it sounded very distant from me right now. I'll come back in here to there. I'm sure you barely probably heard me as I went over there because I was not near the microphone. And it might suck for that reason. But here we go. We're about 2.5 minutes into this recording, and now I'm going to just review this video by Rollo. I have a lot of things to say about this. I'm concerned that he's going to be like, grifter. I have no following whatsoever, so I don't think he's going to say anything. He's just like, you're nobody. He's always whining and moaning about people being grifters, but I have read his books. I have a background in philosophy. I'm an academician. I have a history of being intellectual and debating. I understand empiricism, which I know plays a big role in the way he writes. He's big on science and data. I appreciate all of that. And so we're just going to begin here, and I am going to be somewhat silly during this, but I'm also going to try to say some serious things. This is only an 8-minute video. We'll see how long I go today. I have a habit of doing long videos, and I have a habit now of saying, if you don't want to listen to something long, scram. You go have fun on TikTok with your goldfish attention span. Okay, here we go. Rollo Tomassi, When a Woman Reaches 29 to 31.
That's the time when you hear women say, well, I want to get right with God. I want to get right with myself. I want to do things the right way. He's got to earn it this time. And I'm done being a prostitute, slut, whatever. I'm done with all that stuff. And now I want to fly straight.
I'm already inspired
and
a little
that's
bit.
The point at which we're supposed to go, oh, she's completed her journey of self-discovery. And so therefore we have to forgive her. We have a forgive and forget. We're going to extend some grace to her because she's extending grace to herself. And if you can't do that while she is doing that, well, that looks like the problem lies with you, mister. There's something wrong with you if you can't. And so the Lord has forgiven her. Why can't you? That's where you're going to hear this kind of language. Is right between 29 and 31 years old. This is when it's like
at the end of the party phase is what you say, right? Yeah, like she's done being promiscuous and super slutty in her young light, one night stands, all her alpha fucks, and she has decided it's time for me to settle down and to procure resources, and so she's going to find herself a good little beta male that she's never happy having sex with, and then enter in sad beta male marrying marrying a woman who's been with a million men before who and they all satisfied her way more than you will, Buster. Hey, I'm in the same boat. Don't worry.
Oh, I'm not into the bad boys anymore. I was so crazy in my college years.
I try to be a bad boy. I carry a knife around these days. Yep.
I did.
No tattoos though. That's too bad boy for me. That's dumb boy. And dumb girls get tattoos as well. Sorry. Well, no, they overdo them. It's okay to do something very subtle and nice. It's crazy to cover up your whole body, and I'm sorry, babes.
So much stuff that's all on video now, and
I'm sexist.
Cancun and the foam cannon party. But now that's not me anymore. That's not me.
Sure.
I'm gonna do things the right way. I want you to jump.
It would be the woman forever if she could have an eternal free tab at the fountain of youth. If you can stay young, you're gonna keep living it up, right? I mean, sometimes I think if I were 21, I'd be going out and getting wasted still.
To wait for this pussy, mister. All the guys that paid for this and all the video that's out there. No. I'm giving myself grace, and so therefore I have more value. I have more value than I did back then. The problem with that is this is kind of like I've described it this way. You don't have
more value.
Is that when a woman gets to be into the epiphany phase, it's like her. If you think of like the three parts of personality, like it's very Freudian, I understand. Maybe this is not the best illustration, but if you look at like the id, the ego, and the superego, right? The id really, really, really wants to. I want hot guys. I really want to have fun. It's like the hedonistic aspect. It's like I really want to go out there. It's so exciting. I want to get with,
men and women are both like that.
The guy from 50 Shades of Grey. I need to get with the hot guy.
Oh man, you mean the guy who gets to slap the lady? That's like what I just did to her. Psh, I'm not like that in real life. I want to have a very tender, loving relationship. It's satire when I go boom on her face like that. That's satire.
Foam cannon party. I want to get with Jason Momoa, blah, blah, blah. And then there's the ego. Momoa. And the ego says to the id, well, you know what? We're 29 right now. And we can't really do what we used to do. We can't really, we got to think of our future because we're not as hot as we used to be. And we're kind of hitting the wall, but not hitting the wall. We're just, but we can see it. It's coming up.
It's time to think about resources and planning for life and having kids. And then, as you say, Rollo, divorcing the man for cash and prizes, dumping the man and keeping him around as a slave forever, paying child support and alimony for a while until she finds some other alpha to probably marry and postpone marrying so that she can milk the alimony for as long as humanly possible.
And we really have to plan ahead. We really have to start thinking in terms of long-term security because maybe we don't have enough money or maybe it's just emotional. Maybe we just want a guy who's going to be around. I don't know, but we need to get responsible. And the id goes, no. We want to have fun. Fun. We want to get back to where we were before. Trader, thank you for your support, my friend.
Oh my!
Easy now. One of my good friends from the cryptosphere, just so y'all know. But it's like there's this conflict. It's almost like there's two personalities fighting with one another. It's the one that wants.
There's that internal dialogue with everyone. I wrestle with myself on the inside all day long.
To do the right thing. It's the ego. It's the one that really wants to fly straight, or it's trying to think in terms of of the future. And it's like
there's the mature part that wants to do the right thing, and then there's the other. It's like I imagine that those angels on one shoulder and the devil on the other shoulder, like they're each whispering to you what you should do, and sometimes the one is stronger than the other.
We're not going to be as hot as when we hit 33. We're not going to be as hot as we were when we were 23.
Duh.
And the id's like, no.
Men will, though. Men usually get cooler looking if they're taking care of themselves, except for going bald. That's an exception. When I got older, I finally gained some weight. I was always very skinny. A dude being skinny like me, we're talking 6 feet, and in my lightest weight, probably like 125, 130 pounds. That's some skinny shit right there. Even I look at myself now, no wonder people were calling me the Crypt Keeper. I think people have said the exact same thing about Rollo, but not because he's skinny. I think it's like the hair. And, if you removed the flesh off the face and you just had the bone and the hair, I'm sure you'd look like Crypt Keeper as well. Wouldn't we all?
No, I want somebody fun and hot and exciting. And he's got to really rock my world and lay pipe like nobody's business, right? But then...
What do you mean lay pipe?
The ego goes, no, no, no. This conversation that you're listening to right now is that conflict. Now, they're both having they're having a common conversation, but the rationalization that goes along with the epiphany phase, everything that's in this conversation, that's why I wanted to touch on this today. Everything in this conversation is that conflict between separating themselves from the 18 to 28 demographic and transitioning. That's why I call it a transition.
I can't stand when my stuff is not all complete. I have so many things to turn on. I'm always forgetting something. So I realize the on-air sign is not on, and I realize that LED meter's not on, and I'm like, imperfection, and I can't go back and start over now.
Phase into the 29, 30, 31-year-old phase. And that's very, for women in particular, that's very, very, it's a vital stage. Now, why do I say that? Well, because if you go and you look at, let me go throw this one on here for you real quick. If you look at my infamous sexual market value graph here, produced in 2014, this. By the way.
I do have some things to say about this. I'm interested to hear what you have to say. Like, honestly, dude, yes, I see how it's like men have this advantage where their sexual market value persists and it even is increased at a later age than women. But there are still a lot of women who are beyond their prime getting laid super easily. And that makes me resentful because it's like guys still have to have super game and money and work hard at it. And a woman can be pretty old and pretty yucky, but if she still has a nice body, she'll get some action pretty easily. I don't know if that's a good thing or what. I'm just saying. Am I not right about that?
You can see here.
I can.
Right around the 30-year mark for both men and women. Now, I want you to pay attention to the pink side of this. Not, the men's side is also very important, but on the pink side here, when women are on that decline, when they hit about 23 years old, at their sexual market value peak. And again, this is confirmed by research. This is confirmed by stats from OkCupid, from dating stats. I'll tell you what's funny is like, I used to get run up the flag.
I do think this is accurate. And I think it encompasses more than what I was talking about, just merely getting laid. A lot of older ladies get laid easily, but they're not in that prime time of their life between like 15 and 30 where he has them marked out there. And the point is, that's when they start getting noticed. That's when guys start noticing them. And that's when they start having the value.
For this, not anymore, because there's been so much like research and
SMV, sexual market value. Whoop.
So much statistical like reinforcement for this that I'm actually kind of almost like, it's all spooky to me how accurate it was when I produced this. But when you look at this and that woman is now at 30 some odd.
I don't know if I'm making any kind of point that's relevant to that graph when I say that older ladies still get laid very easily. Beyond that sexual market value, it's just like there's so many horned up lonely guys out there that they'll do a bunch of old bags is all I'm saying. Very undesirable women, alcoholics, who are not in the prime of their life by a long shot, but they still have a superpower down there in the nether regions. I don't like to say the P word that you say, mister. I don't know why I feel like a bad person saying that. Am I declaring my beta-ness by saying I don't like to say the word pussy? I don't. It always makes me feel self-conscious somehow.
Years old.
And cringy.
She's got to look ahead for her own security, but you also understand that the average age of first marriage is when? Right around 28, 29 for women right now. For men, it's about 2 years more. It's like about 30, maybe 31 now in the United States. But it's no coincidence that the average age of first marriage picks up right around the epiphany and the transition phase.
And I get that these are the averages for society, but why are they that way? And they've been trending later and later on a generational basis. And so I don't know that you it's like you do point that out, and I think it's accurate, but I don't think you talk or go in depth about the historic reasons why it's trending that way. And so it's like I lurch into the area of conspiracy theory when I think about that a little bit, about there being an agenda to destroy the family unit and to get people not reproducing at a younger age when they're most fertile so that people have fewer kids. And there's all this huge trend toward depopulation. I think somewhere along the line that has something to do with it, what they're trying to encourage in media and movies and Hollywood, etc. That's my time.
Convenient, isn't it? Right. Well, that's when we've got to fly straight, and that's when we're looking for a guy. It's cads versus dads. The exciting guy that those guys, the high value guys that they got with in their past or whatever, the agency, the power, the popularity, the notoriety, the attention, the affirmation.
I want all those things
that came.
I need money. I need attention. I need validation. I need more muscle. I need hair. I need a Ferrari and a Lamborghini and a Porsche. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else in terms of the type of car I might need. A time machine.
Being 23, and then on top of that, you invest your ego into that, and you invest your revenue into that, and you invest your popularity, your notoriety. She's talking about, like, later on, she talks about how she only goes on TikTok when she's depressed, which is very interesting. But right around 29 years old.
You do that which will make you more depressed. Okay. That's the power of the dopamine hit, I guess.
28, 29 is when the panic sets in. And that's why Tomi Lahren had her moment when she was 28 years old in August of 2020. And you can go back and if you know what, I'll link it in this later on. You can go back and have a look at that and comparing
that. That what? Are you referring to Tomi Lahren or well, okay. We'll just watch this back later and figure out what you mean by that.
Contrast Tomi Lahren to Mia Khalifa to maybe somebody that you know, maybe a woman that you know between the ages of 29 and 31 years old. And that's a really tough time because it's like they understand that the party's almost over. The lights are going to come on at the club and they got to leave with the guy. They got to get out of the club. And the club being the sexual marketplace in this allegory that I'm never supposed to use. But this is the language. This is what you will hear from women in this demographic. And so, yeah, so then it's like, well, I would never tell my 21-year-old self to do that. Of course you wouldn't. Of course you wouldn't.
Big difference.
Because you're like, oh, it's the wisdom of whores, right? It's like, I understand things now. I
love how you use all these words and to tell you the truth, it's bad. You're using the word whore, you're using the word pussy, because my mind, the way it's working is you're influencing me. And I'm like, oh my God, am I free to say these words? I'm all self-conscious about what people think. And I'm just saying, I'm marking the beta on me, on my head.
In my journey of self-discovery, I'm a different person. I want somebody who's going to respect me for me being me. And the problem
That's hilarious.
And you've heard me say this on several occasions, is that, and Myron will probably say that
she's always going to be missing that beta fuck once she settles down for that alpha fuck. Once she settles down for that beta dude, she's always going to be like dreaming about it and miserable and holding the beta responsible for just being the guy who he is.
Exactly the same thing here in a little while. But women tend to conflate their personal worth with their sexual market value.
That's interesting.
I've used this countless times on Fresh and Fit. I've put it in at least 3 different books that I can think of.
That's why maybe when you start to separate that and a woman gets older, she can actually develop personal character.
And I know I put this in religion. I'm pretty sure I put it in preventive medicine. I think there's I think in one chapter
and depth and maturity and sophistication that is very rare in a younger woman. And I want to see women who are old souls.
The Player's Handbook, I also referred to this. But during this time, this is when urgency is like, sexual urgency is like the cards are down, the chips are down. If you get past this, or if there's some sort of comforting fiction that helps get that woman over the hump of being like 28, 29, 30, or 29, 30, 31, that's a real dangerous time, because this is when women want to consolidate. This is when guys are supposed to be dumb and blue-pilled. This is when guys who are just hitting 30, they haven't quite hit their stride
I know that's
into
not
their
me.
sexual market value peak, but they are possibly going to be winners.
They're going after dumb guys, the guys they never would have dated when they were younger, and then like I said, they use them, they abuse them, they try to change them into something they're not, and then eventually they have a couple kids, they get bored, they get tired, they want to cash out for cash and prizes, then they want to hold that guy captive for like that duration of time where he has to pay for the kids while she's out fucking alphas again.
Going to cross the finish line, as per Rich Cooper.
Did I get that right? This is from the School of Rollo, I think. I would love it if I'm mistaken about something, if he wants to correct me. I doubt he will, because I'm a nobody, and he's like, I'm not going to give you the attention, sir.
And they are hoping that those guys will be there. These are the guys that, Sheryl Sandberg always says, nothing sexier over time.
Oh.
They're supposed to be waiting for her at 30.
That's the Facebook lady, right? Poo on her. Poo on her.
And more, they're not waiting for them. And so they get to this point right here and they have conversations just like this.
O's mad. All right. That was good. All right. That's it. That's all I want to do for this video was react to him talking right there. And as a matter of fact, I do like a lot of the stuff he said there. And tell me what you think. If you like what you hear from Rollo Tomassi, the Rational Male, go to his page. It's here. I think it says Rational Male Clips. So he has another channel that he made, Rational Male Clips. And he also has the Rational Male channel. He does these extremely long shows, about 4 hours a week. And if you like it, there's a lot of wisdom to be gained there, fellas, especially if you want to learn better game, especially if you want to understand women better. And if you're in this emotional quandary, if you lost the one, this is the guy you should listen to for personal growth. Please go do that. I'm done for today, everybody. This was my Saturday video. Peace be with you all. And also with you, Paul.